morning, everybody. Chris Wood here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. October 10th, 2022. It's 10/10, actually. 10th month, 10th day. Anyway, I just want to say to O.P.P. Spencer MILLS14716, congratulations. Your boy did it. This is finished. Congratulations to O.P.P. ex-chief, Staff Sergeants Robert Kane, Robert Lucas, Shannon Cork, Stacy, and Shelley Huffner. Congratulations to Dr. Tatiana V for falsifying my medical files for 3 years of getting me medically blacklisted, for getting me treatment refusals, discrimination while this is happening to me. To Dr. Joy Hadley, to Dr. Bart, Dr. Waldron, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. McGregor, Triage Nurse Terry, Triage Nurse Tanya, Triage Nurse David, Paladin Security Guard, William Bill Wooldridge, 149 Center Street North, Blair Hardy, Javen Alstein, Tyler Lake, Ray, and his sex offending roommate, Sam. There is also Maggie Falls, there's Bert Hustler, there's Allie Cooper, there's Bucktooth Bob, a.k.a. possibly Robert Berry. These are all drug-fed co-offenders with and for O.P.P. They are human traffickers, human sex trade slavery traffickers. They're guilty of kidnapping, they're guilty of sex assaults, arrest refusals, surrounding hands-on guns, medical treatment refusals, kidnapping 24 hours after asking for help, May 27th, 2021, with what's taken place with me. My skull's been split, my brain has been seriously injured. The whole right side of my body is completely fucked. It's filled up with fluid or something. I have no right kidney. My right kidney is completely gone. It's failed. There's nothing I can do about it. My right lung is completely filled up. There is nothing I can do about it. I lose my breath constantly on a daily basis. There is nothing I can do about it. I go to the hospital. They'll just take it as me being there with a headache. They will not do anything, or they will just kick me out, have Paladin kick me out, so they do not have to check for anything, because they are guilty of their crimes done with criminal negligent intent for 3 fucking years for an inmate sex offender who is Hells Angels and Banditos using remote neuromonitoring on your victims to mentally fuck them up so O.P.P. get away with their crimes to cause memory losses while they're sitting back masturbating, buying time for their victims to be killed. This is how they murder. This is how they human traffic. This is how they frame their victims, putting prisoner tracking onto their victims, stalking their victims, falsely arresting their victims, using their badges, their positions, false guise of law. They are pedophiles, human sex trade, slavery, trafficking, children to pedophiles, and adults to sex offenders. It's all being done through remote neuromonitoring as well, which is a microchip implant that I have proven, and they used it on me. I was shot back in 2019 by the ex-O.P.P. chief. He is a murdering pedophile. This is how he gets his victims. He shoots them with shit. He causes memory losses in them, and in the meantime, it enables him to have invasive surveillance on his victims while he is killing them. Isn't that right, O.P.P.? You're getting paid. You are paying people. You're getting paid for having me murdered. I was sold for revenge, retaliation, homicide through O.P.P. for revenge, retaliation for speaking of their crimes, the Morning Star Mission, the human homeless trafficking out of the Morning Star Mission here in NAPANEE, and the homeless exploitation. This is done because I have absolutely no feeling in my head. My skull has been completely deformed. It goes from flat to round. It's been elongated. It's been shortened. It's been widened and everything else, and I have proven it. My back of my head goes completely and totally flat, and then it goes round. I get air going through me. I have shit going through my head. I have feces going through my fucking body, and urine as well, from being mutilated. And there's not a damn thing that I can do about it. I cannot go to a hospital. My human rights have been violated. My legal rights have been violated. My medical rights, everything violated, preventing me from help assuring this crime. O.P.P are not only guilty of having my mother stalked and murdered for their revenge, but they're guilty of my identity theft with the intent to frame, traffic, and murder, and they are guilty of murdering an entire bloodline. So I hope on this Thanksgiving Day you're sitting back with your crystal meth and your heroin, you fucking junkie cops, along with your boyfriends getting your dick sucked, and you're thankful of all the homicides and other crimes that you've committed here in NAPANEE successfully over the last year and gotten away with it. Including the doctors. I hope the doctors are sitting around with their fucking opiates here in Napanee General Hospital, Lennox and Addington General Hospital, on their fucking opiates provided probably by Spencer Mills, drug cop to Tatiana, even though they are a hospital and they have access to them. That's probably why Tatiana is a doctor, because she has access to opiates for all her people, for the cops, and for her inmate buddies who are Hells Angels and Banditos. You signed my death certificate for your girlfriend. You fucking skank. You think because you're doctors, and I don't care, you think because you're doctors that you are above the law, that you don't have to answer for anything. If Hawkesbury Doctor worked here in Napanee, guaranteed he'd still be going. He'd be hired by O.P.P to help them murder, and he would also have it also covered up through them. I would hate if a child went there that was ever sexually assaulted or injured. They would make that child feel like a piece of shit, and then they would turn around and blame the child for it happening to them, because it probably would be through one of O.P.P's boys. So that's why they became cops, to get away with the crimes that they are committing, knowing that nothing will happen or nothing can be done to them, especially here in Napanee when they're doing it with the poor, the homeless, the elderly, financial thefts and frauds, insurance thefts and frauds, disability thefts and frauds, identity thefts and frauds, obviously. For 3 years of going through this, you completely deformed my fucking skull. You completely deformed my face while proving it, and while being called a liar through the hospital, because they work with and for O.P.P. The doctors here at this hospital have proven that they are nothing more than a place for the police here and their inmate boss, Hells Angels, to bring their victims to get the crimes covered up. They've proven it for 3 years, and all it took was Tatiana. Kind of funny how I had not been to a hospital or a doctor in almost 7 to 10 years, and then all of a sudden I am medically blacklisted, and I'm getting all these accusations against me, and nobody has to prove anything. Accusations about drugs that I do not do, accusations because I had long hair and I have my tattoos, so they automatically assumed it to be true. Accusations about having long history and criminal records and histories, long psychological record and histories, and none of it is true in any way, shape, or form. I've never been in any of those places. I'd never even had a record until I was falsely charged by O.P.P and the doctors here to deflect the crimes that they are guilty of. They kept me away from getting medical help for almost a year. They kept me from getting medical help for 8 months, 8+ months, so they could get away with this, to help me, to medically blacklist me, to keep me away from the hospital on false fucking harassment charges for phoning the hospital and letting them know what was taking place with the doctors, and that they needed to be arrested and charged on criminal felony charges. Doctors, outside cops need to come into Napanee, and they need to criminally felony arrest doctors. They need to criminally felony arrest police and their boss, Hells Angels Bandito, 149 Center Street North, Billy Wooldridge. guaranteed he gets arrested, and it will prove the resemblance and everything else between us. I'm no longer on my own consciousness. So, I'm being broadcasted through right now by Tyler Lake, a fucking 31, 32-year-old punk. Him and his little whore girlfriend, Holly Carlisle. Bucktooth skank. So, you did it after 3 years. I'm pretty much, you lobotomized me, you flattened my fucking skull, you completely destroyed my brain. I'm being numbed right now. This whole right side of my head, right in here, is completely dead. I have absolutely no stimulation in any way, shape, or form in my head now. My blood vessels and everything else has been so seriously damaged. While being called a fucking liar in the hospital, and the doctors doing nothing to help but cover it up. So they're lucky that they are above the law, and they work for Hell's Angels, and they work for William Billy Wooldridge, and that they are above the law here in NAPANEE, and that there is nothing that there can be done for their crimes against their victims. This is why the police are so successful with their crimes. They injure, they torture, they have a justice of the peace to make accusations, to get them out of arrest. They have doctors to cover their crimes, and they also have each other to cover their crimes, especially when it's done against the poor, homeless, natives, elderly, children. They don't have to answer for nothing, and they know it, and when they do have to answer for it, they get paid for it with vacations for their crimes. That's another reason why they became cops, is because they know they can murder and they'll still get paid for it. They get rewarded for homicide with these paid fucking so-called leaves while things are being investigated. That's a bunch of bullshit. Chris Wood, love all, hate none, be safe, watch yourselves, watch your children, hit that like, share, subscribe, especially the share. This helps get it out. This is very important.